I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with the mighty faith to do the things that ought be done by me. Spring forth with the mighty faith to do the things that ought be done by me. That was said by Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, at 94 years old. He was springing forth. Yes. Yes, he's a role model for all of us, right? And it was the principles and the things that he learned through what he was discovering in his study of unity, what he called and created unity with his wife Myrtle. And we're studying the 12 powers, and today we're looking at the power of zeal. And we're going to look at what it is and why do we need it, and how do we, I don't want to say get it because we already have it, but how do we activate it? And how do we keep it activated? Zeal is the light within us. It's that burning in our belly of our stomach that keeps us going, gets us here. Actually, while I was doing this talk, I was researching this talk, what came to me was, I think it's zeal that makes a baby be born. I think the baby finally says, I'm ready. I'm ready to be bigger and to be expanded and to be out there making a difference. So it's the zeal that allows the baby to be birthed. And in any of us, we all have this zeal, right? But when we decide to activate it, usually it's about birthing a new part of ourselves, right? That part of us that keeps us excited and passionate. And that doesn't always come easy. It doesn't always come with no pain or discomfort. When a baby's born, I found out through this research that they don't really feel pain when they're coming through the birth canal. They feel pressure, but it's not pain, which I thought was pretty amazing. The pain they feel is once they're outside and the bright lights, they've been in this dark wound, so the eyes hurt and their ears hurt a little bit because it's so loud. But I was pretty shocked that the journey hurts the mother more than it hurts the baby. And maybe that's the way it is the rest of the life too, right? I don't know, I'm not a mother, but anyway. Zeal is intensity, enthusiasm, the inward fire of the soul that urges humankind onward, regardless of the intellectual mind of caution and conservatism. It's vitalization. It's that part of us that get up and go, that ability to be enthusiastic and passionate, as well as to inspire and motivate oneself. To inspire and motivate oneself from within, that thing that's within each and every one of us, that sometimes feels buried, that sometimes doesn't even feel like a spark maybe, but it's always there. It's directed energy focused on an ideal to be realized, and it's natural to all of us. It's signified by what color, you think?
Orange.
Orange, exactly, orange, which is the same color as the second chakra, which is the chakra for desire and creativity. Isn't that interesting? So together, it's a propelling force. Now, I just want you to think for a minute, because this is going to be your homework too, and reflect upon, what do you love about life? What are you passionate about? What makes you excited? And just thinking about these things activates zeal. Now, zeal is from the Greek word zelos, which means to be passionate and enthusiastic about life. It's being the way. Life is flowing through us. Our joy is not dependent on external circumstances. It is within us. And if there's something external that's motivating us, it's our responsibility to dig into that and see what it really is. What's really exciting us about that. Zeal is an attitude of forwardness and courageous. It is a single-minded devotion to one's purpose. The apostle that signifies zeal is Simon the Canaanite. And the Canaanites are respected for their passion and commitment to their faith. And Simon became that about Jesus' teachings. He was considered or called Simon the Zealot. And it's all about staying connected to our source and our faith as the zeal flows through us. Zeal can get discovered. It's the power of the mind to shift, what Brian was talking about. It's the power of looking at something and deciding to see it differently. I had, many years ago, I was dating a guy who loved the baseball team out of Boston. What's their names?
Red Sox.
Red Sox. Okay. So I'm not into sports, right? And he was determined. He's taking me to this game where the green wall is or something. And
Green Monster.
the Green Monster. And I'm going to love baseball after this game. Okay, I was willing to try it, but I didn't have the right attitude. I was miserable. The traffic, the people, the screaming, the rain, it was nasty. I was miserable. Okay, fast forward about 20 years, and Gabe's brother, Tony, decides he wants a group of his friends to go to a baseball game. And I was like, oh man. But I've had some unity experience at this point, and I decided I'm going to make the best of it. This is something this man wants to do. He could be on his way on to the next life, and I'm going to have a good time. And I don't know anything about the game. To this day, I don't know anything about the game because I paid attention to the people and the energy and the food, and I had a great time. It was a shift for me. It was, what was I going to value in this event that I chose to do? And what did I value? I valued the love, I valued the family, I valued the relationships. And it didn't matter what the event was. So that is activating our zeal when we decide to look at something a different way. Because who here has stuff in their life that they don't like to do? Yeah, so if there's some way that you can shift that perception and activate that part of you that lights you up, that gives you an opportunity to make somebody else happy for one. It's not something, we can't live there all life making other people happy, right? We have to make ourselves happy. But if making somebody else happy makes us happy, then that's part of our zeal. So it's the power of the mind that, if I'm not having fun doing this, what would make it more fun? And be open to the surprising divine ideas that come to you. It's the shift in your thoughts. It's thought exchange, right? So when we discover something, the value of it, there's a sense of joy. We rediscover and activate or reactivate the zeal that runs through us. It's that childlike spontaneity. It's our get up and go. It's that desire that moves us forward. It's whatever it is within you that just, it makes you want to shout. It makes you want to stand up and shout.
You make me want to shout, kick my heels up and shout, throw my hands up and shout, throw my head back and shout. Come on now. Woo! Y'all are good. Y'all know how this goes. Come on. Kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now. Don't forget to say you will. Don't forget to say yeah. Say you will, say right now, baby. Woo! Come on, say you will. Say you will. Come on, stand up and shout with me. You can shout. Kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now. Woo! Throw my hands up and kick my heels up and throw my arms up and
Does anybody feel a little better now than they did a few minutes ago? Yeah. And it was just a decision. It was a choice. You could have sat in your chair and not done anything, right? It's a choice. And we all have that in us somewhere. Somewhere. And even, one of the things, like I talked about in the meditation, some days we have the doldrums. Some days we're depressed. Some days we're experiencing grief. So it feels like there's no way there's zeal in me now. But guess what? The zeal is there. And we have to experience where we are right now. We have to feel those feelings. Because many times what happens is, and I did this, when Michael died, I did not want to feel anger. It was like, there's no reason to feel anger. He died. How could I be angry at this man? Well, a year and a half later, it finally came out. And my therapist was saying that you have to feel it. It's part of the process. It's part of the healing process. But because I was avoiding it, right, it keeps me wounded. It keeps me from healing completely. It keeps me from living in life in that place of zeal, because the zeal is still there, but it can't get beyond that grief. It can't get. So we have to be where we are, but we also can move through that. And we move through it by feeling it. And then right behind it is the light, is the joy, is the zeal. And that's when the divine ideas come to help us move to the next step of where it is that we're supposed to go. So there are 3 important aspects of zeal. I mentioned them again in the meditation: enthusiasm, audacity, and devotion. So enthusiasm comes from the Greek word entheos, which is God within. Yep, filled with God. The divine spirit is moving through me. And to be enthused, to be in zeal, is to just be tapped in, turned on, and moving forward. And that feeling of being filled with spirit. We're filled with spirit because that's what we are. So instead of looking outside of ourselves for something to fill us, start from within. And that's why we always talk about meditation, is going into that still, quiet place. You get to know the truth of who you are. Our eagerness for life, our interest in and our optimism about our intentions and plans comes from that place. You know, zeal is what dogs have, right? Dogs have zeal. And when something bad happens to them, within seconds, they've forgotten about it. And they just move right on. You know, I have a client I see every Saturday. It is the most bizarre thing. It's a Chihuahua. This dog somehow knows it's Saturday, somehow knows it's about 11 o'clock. He jumps up on the bay window, and when I pull in, he's up, the tail's wagging, jumps down, apparently runs around the house 3 or 4 times. And when I get there, continues to run around the house like a crazy dog. But this dog is so excited. And I said, okay, well, maybe he hears, you know, my client and his wife talking, so he knows that it's Saturday, something like that. That's how he knows. He doesn't have this internal clock right now. Well, then I'm doing the massage, and I always end the massage by saying, thank you very much. Somehow, probably 30 seconds before the massage is over, the dog is right there waiting for me to say thank you very much. Because as soon as I say thank you very much, I bend down and I start playing with the dog for a little bit. It was amazing how this dog knew intuitively that the massage was over and it was time for his little petting. And I don't know how I got off on that. Oh, I know, because the dog's enthusiasm. The dog's enthusiasm about seeing me, you know. And one time, he had something going on in his ear. I touched his ear. He yelped. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Seconds later, he's back for more. I was like, wow, that was quick. Yeah, he held absolutely no resentments. That was really good. So remember also, out of our discontent or desire is where zeal comes from. So we have to get through the discontent. Norman Vincent Peale said, think excitement, talk excitement, act out excitement, and you are bound to become an excited person. Life will take on a new zest, deeper interest and greater meaning. You can think, talk, and act yourself into dullness or into monotony or into unhappiness. By the same process, you can build up inspiration, excitement, and surging depth of joy. We get to do it. It's all ours. We get to choose whatever it is. Well, Gabe and I took a class once. I don't know if you remember this, but the teacher, his assignments was, go home every day before you start your day, look in the mirror and say enthusiasm 3 times and raise your voice. He said, you will change your energy in an instant. So there's another tool if you want to do that. Look in the mirror and say enthusiasm 3 times. I tell you get excited just by saying that word. For many years, the other thing to be aware of, and I hope this talk isn't like this, like we get motivated by hearing other people. Like I was wrapped up a lot in network marketing companies. I love network marketing companies. I love the excitement. I love the motivation. Not necessarily, the products were always good, but I didn't like selling the products. You know, it was not. And in all the network marketing companies I went to, they always said Jesus was the first network marketer. That was like a little red flag for me, but I never paid attention to it because I didn't think I was worthy of sharing Jesus's way. But it turns out that's what my joy is. That's what my passion is. That's what the light in me wants to share. It's not magnets or makeup or cleaning products. And other people get excited doing that. God bless them, because they make a lot of money doing it. But I'm just not one of them. So I got wrapped up in that loop because I kept getting excited by seeing these people, and then I'd leave and the excitement would go away. So I had to go within and find out what it was for me. And zeal is that long-term energy that is available to us. It doesn't pass after the motivational talk is over. So the second one is audacity. Fillmore taught that zeal is the great universal force that impelling humankind to spring forward in a field of endeavor and accomplishment, accomplish the seemingly miraculous. Our power source for moving in the direction of fulfillment and beyond bounds of perceived limitation is audacity. It's a quality of boldness and forwardness. And it's necessary for us to be successful. The thing is, it can be perceived as pushy or presumptuous, but it could also be perceived as spunky, right? Or daring. As a spiritual aspect of zeal, audacity is our capacity for boldly proceeding in the direction of our intentions. And audacity is probably what Marianne Williamson was referring to when she said, "Our playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you." We are all meant to shine. We're all meant to shine. So as one of us shines, we help somebody else shine. So that's, if you can hold on to that, rather than playing it small or staying under the radar in life. No, shine your light, be big. And the last part is devotion. And in the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus made some radical statements. And one of them was, this is Thomas 6. His disciples questioned him, "Should we fast? In what way should we pray? Should we give to charity? From which foods should we abstain?" Jesus responded, "Do not lie. If there is something that you hate, do not do it. For everything is revealed beneath heaven. Nothing hidden will fail to be displayed. Nothing covered will remain undisclosed." So turning Jesus' words around to positive, it's tell the truth. Be in integrity with yourself. Do what you love for the love of it. Be unified within yourself. That's what Jesus' primary message was, is to shine your light. Follow his way. That's what he did. He showed us the way. He was the master teacher. Jesus seems to be reminding us of that in all of Thomas's writings. So devotion fulfills the law of the mind. Where thought goes, energy flows. So all of those little thoughts that we're thinking, if they're not in the direction of the way we want our life to be, guess what? It keeps us where we are, because it's those thoughts that got us right here, right? So we have to become conscious of what it is that we're thinking. But those subconscious thoughts. And even sometimes it becomes subconscious, or maybe not subconscious, but unconscious conversations. I know I fall into it when I start talking about the price of gas. Who cares? I'm gonna buy gas anyway, right? It's like, I try and stop myself, but I notice myself every time I go by the gas station. It's craziness. So the flow of energy responding to devoted attention is not random, it's precise, amplifying and reproducing the original thought. So what is your original thought? This is why spiritual practice is essential for a spiritual experience in life. And for me, that spiritual practice is mindfulness and meditation. Meditation every day, even if it's just 5 minutes. It helps me to get grounded in that place of my oneness with the limitless. And zeal can only be experienced in this present moment. And devotion can only be experienced in this present moment. And enthusiasm can only be experienced in this present moment. So as we take those in this present moment, it allows us to move toward what it is that we're desiring. A young man seeks a famous martial artist with whom to study, and he tells the master his desire to become the best martial artist in the world. "Master, how long will it take?" The master looks at the young man and says, "It will take at least 10 years. 10 years seemed like an awfully long time. So the young man went on to say, How long will it take if I really applied myself and studied harder than any other student? Well then, he said, it'll take 20 years. The young man was perplexed about working harder would double his time, and the master explained, when one eye is fixed upon your destination, there is only one left with which to find the way. So, to be here and now with what is, and to allow the divine ideas to come in order to move forward to what the zeal within you is calling you to do. So enthusiasm, audacity, and devotion press forward, press toward the future. But it is necessary to live in the present in order to get to the future. Appreciation of this moment's possibilities grounds us in zeal. Appreciating what we have right now, who we are right now. We can appreciate our future potential while living consciously and gratefully in the now. Staying present to what is and know that divine ideas will come. Then boldly step forward with audacity and enthusiasm to do what ought to be done by you. The little sparks, the old dreams, they're still there. It could be something from a long time ago or something new, but it is one thing or maybe many things that make you feel alive. Singing, dancing, playing the piano, healing, being an activist, doing massage, inspiring. I mean, look at our community. We see it every day. Kenneth opening the Magnolia Room. Linda and Deb and Maria having cabaret shows, their own cabaret shows. I mean, really. David Skleru, who left his job to volunteer, to follow his heart. Betsy, who does Reiki in her business now. She hated her job before. Now she loves her job. I mean, it's all around us. People are doing. Joe Jones being an entertainer, following her heart, saying, I'm going to do this no matter what. So whatever it is that lights your fire, it's wanting to be lit. And the fact that you're here hearing this talk, chances are there's something in you that wants to be lit. Because that's the way these soul groups work, right? You wouldn't be here listening to this talk, and that's you too out there on Facebook. You wouldn't be listening to this talk if there wasn't a little fire in you that needed a little bit of attention, a little bit of activating. So take the time. Take the time to ignite your zeal and to tap into something that can be created or co-created through you. Howard Thurman said it best. When you're seeking a purpose, when you're seeking a sense of being, he said, don't look around the world and ask, what does the world need? But ask, what makes me come alive? And do that. Because what the world needs is people that have come alive. People that are walking around alive, awake, enthusiastic about life, right? Absolutely. And isn't it true? I mean, that's what we all want. And the more we see it around us, hopefully the more we'll be inspired to do it, to find it within. So now that we have enthusiasm and we have devotion and audacity, we also have to think about pacing ourselves. And that's where the power of wisdom comes in. And this is just a little cautionary. You don't want to burn yourself out. Do you ever hear the expression, I'm getting ahead of myself? I'm getting ahead of myself. Well, that's when there's a separation between our mind and our body, and we're doing a little bit more than what our body is ready for. So we have to really honor that. So there's a delicate balance, you know. The slow and steady wins the race. You don't want to fizzle out. When you're on the road that lights your fire, you have constant energy available to you to pour yourself out into whatever you are creating in the world. So to summarize, what is zeal? It's the natural energy in us. It's the inward fire that urges humankind forward, regardless of intellectual mind of caution or conservatism. Why do we need it? We need it to stay alive. We need it to be here on purpose. We need it to share the gift that we came here to share. How do we activate it? We look at situations as opportunities for joy. We change our perspective. We be in the moment with what is and find something to appreciate about it. Even if it's the doldrums. Because know right behind it is our spark of zeal. So your homework this week is to think about 3 things that you're passionate about. Maybe something from a long time ago, maybe something new. Think about what brings you joy, what lights my fire, what makes me want to shout. And then You can engage and activate and fully sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm. Spring forth with the mighty faith to do what ought to be done by you. Thank you.